What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. I want to take a look at Al Singer. His name was Abraham Singer. He was a phenomenal lightweight. He was born September 6, 1906 in New York's Lower East Side. He died April 20th, 1961. He was 54 years of age at the time of his death, and he would reside in the Bronx, New York. Now, Al Singer stood 5 foot 4.5 inches, and he weighed 133.5 pounds. He had a 67.5-inch reach and total bouts of 73 fights, 62 wins, 9 losses, 2 draws, 26 knockouts, and he would be knocked out himself 4 times. He would have an astonishing 410 rounds of experience under his belt. Al Singer was a Jewish lightweight boxer that lived on the Lower East Side. This was an area in Manhattan that most of the Jewish fighters and Jewish, I should say, residents lived. Not too far from the Bowery. But boy, I'll tell you, you had a lot of great Jewish fighters at that time. And they would bare knuckle fight just to earn a dollar. You see, that was the time of the Depression. And most of the young boys at that time would steal apples off of food trucks. They would steal and take whatever they can just to put food on their mother's table. But one day, a young man noticed that Al Singer was getting the best of most of the kids in the neighborhood. With bare knuckle boxing, that was. And he approached him and told him, if you come with me, I could earn you thousands, because you have the hands and the feet that would take that money to the bank. After hearing what Al Singer liked, he decided to join the young promoter, and off they went. And after several fights, Al Singer would get an opportunity to face Sammy Mandel, who was the lightweight champion, and he would knock him out in the very first round, 1 minute and 46 seconds. July 30th, 1930, and he would become the brand new lightweight champion. He was a celebrity in the neighborhood, and he earned his respect. Unfortunately for Al Singer, 4 months later, he would be KO'd himself. 4 months later, by Tony Canzoneri in the very first round. Now, Tony Canzoneri was a fascinating lightweight. He would knock out Al Singer in 1 round. He would fight great fighters such as Kid Chocolate, Barney Ross, and many other fighters. He turned out to be one of the greatest fighters in history. Now I have Tony Canzoneri, along with Benny Leonard and Johnny Dundee, the Scotch Watch, number 9, as the greatest fighters collectively of all times. Now Al Singer would begin his professional debut July 7th, 1927 in Ridgewood Grove, Brooklyn. He would have 13 fights that year. He would face Joe Summerlin, defeat him. Joe Barber, he would lose to him. Murray Croft, he would defeat him. Jim Raleigh, he would defeat him. These are all local boys in the neighborhood. But he would get in there with Battling Battalino, who would eventually become the lightweight champion. He was a fascinating fighter, and that showed Al Singer what he really had. Because Battling Battalino was a two-fisted come-forward fighter. He had an outstanding fight with a fighter by the name of the Fargo Express, Billy Patrol. So Al Singer had his hands full. He would have 24 fights in 1928, including fights with Petey Mack, outstanding with a lot of experience. He would defeat Petey Mack in Queensboro Stadium. He would face Pete Herman, Queensboro Stadium, and he would defeat Pete Herman, another phenomenal fighter. Pete Herman could fight. He was a phenomenal fighter out of New Orleans. To this day, he is looked at one of the greatest New Orleans fighters in Louisiana. It was an outstanding victory for Al Singer. Now Singer is here in the locker room preparing for his match. 1930 with Stan Lawrence. Stan Lawrence was a very, very good fighter, and he could test you. And after defeating this young man, Al Singer would get his respect and his just due as a lightweight. Outstanding fight that was in St. Nicholas Arena. Now here you have Chick Suggs, another opponent of Al Singer. But Chick Suggs was no opponent for anyone. He was a fascinating fighter. And he would give you the work that you were looking for. Now he would face Chick Suggs. Chick Suggs had an incredible record of 107 wins, 33 losses, with 15 draws. And these two young would face each other in St. Nicholas Arena. And boy, what a fight that was. Al Singer would be held the victor and get past Chick Suggs. Chick Suggs was one hell of a fighter. Al Singer would face Johnny Lawson in Madison Square Garden Arena. Pete Zivick, one of 5 Zivick brothers. The youngest Zivick would be Fritzy Zivick, and he would defeat Henry Armstrong October 4th, 1940, and become the welterweight champion of the world. Now, Pete Zivick had a fighting record of 50 victories, 33 losses, 13 draws. Tons of experience. They would face each other in St. Nicholas Arena. And what another barn-burning fight. Al Singer will be once again held the victor. Al Singer will have to soon face Tony Canzoneri of New Orleans. He would face Bud Taylor. Bud Taylor had a fighting record of 103 wins, 21 losses, 13 draws. He fought him on 2 different occasions, both in Madison Square Gardens, the Mecca of the boxing world. Bud Taylor was some fighter. And that was some fight between Al Singer and Bud Taylor. Now Singer would face Kid Chocolate. At the time, Kid Chocolate had a fighting record of 41-0. 1 draw. They would face one another at the Polo Grounds. And Al Singer would lose. Kid Chocolate was a Cuban fighter. Kid Chocolate could fight. Hall of Famer. I have him in my top 10, along with the greatest colored and African American fighters. The colored champions and the black murderers row. Kid Chocolate is in that list. So you're looking at one hell of a fighter. Now Singer would also face Davey Abad, Carl Dwayne, Andre Ortiz. He would even face Dominic Patrol. Now, Dominic Patrol was a brother of Billy Patrol, the Fargo Express. So you're looking at an outstanding fighter, an Al Singer. And Al Singer would eventually face Tony Canzoneri for a second time. And he'd be knocked out in the very first round, 4 months after he would defeat Sammy Mendel. for the lightweight championship. Tony Canzoneri was not only a Hall of Famer, but he was a 3-time champion. He would face Barney Ross and Kid Chocolate. You name him, he fought him. One of the greatest fighters of all time. I have Tony Canzoneri, along with Benny Leonard and the Scotch Wop, Johnny Dundee. Number 9, collectively, is the greatest fighters of all times. So no shame lost, because Tony Canzoneri is a Hall of Famer. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. All great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. Salute to Al Singer.